Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of vaping. I've got 5 pros and 5 cons that I've come up with myself. These are things I've found in my transition from smoking to vaping. First off, the first pro, we're going to start off with a pro, are the health benefits. Now, I know in America, retailers are not allowed to talk about the health benefits of this, but there are health benefits to vaping, especially over traditional tobacco. There is a report put out by the Royal College of Physicians, came out in 2016, which shows vaping to be 95% less harmful than traditional tobacco. Personally, I have found in the course of vaping that transitioning over from traditional tobacco, I've got immense lung capacity now. I don't get short of breath anymore. I'm feeling a lot more fit, a lot more active. I don't seem to get sick quite as often. I used to spend a lot of time with coughs, with colds, with sniffles, with just feeling under the weather. I don't feel that anymore because I'm vaping, because my lungs are now clearing up and I feel that extra capacity within myself, and it has motivated me to actually improve other aspects of my lifestyle as well. So that is a definite pro. It's definitely got those health benefits, and you're eliminating all those harmful toxins that you get in traditional tobacco. Now we're going to level off this pro with a con, and there is a con, and the first con that I've got down is people's misconception of vaping. So you got a lot of people that will go, what are you doing? What's vaping? That's just as bad as smoking. All these things that people say, oh, you're going to get popcorn lung, oh, you're going to get wet lung, oh, your vape's going to explode. You get all these people coming with these misconceptions. They don't understand it, so therefore they think it's bad. And you spend a lot of your time explaining vaping to these people. And it's really a con from the fact that you're constantly repeating yourself. You know it's good. You know it's good for you. You know what you're doing. And there's all these people you're constantly having to educate on what vaping is, which is not a bad thing in itself, but it is a bit of a con, the fact that you're having to constantly defend vaping. So, pro number two is it smells nice. Whatever you're vaping on, at the moment I've got a nice custard juice going here, and it smells nice. It makes the house smell nice because I'm vaping inside. It makes the car smell nice, and I just generally smell of whatever I'm vaping. It used to be when I was smoking, I would smell of cigarettes, but you can't smell that when you're smoking because one of the things you lose when you're smoking is your sense of smell and your sense of taste. So when you're smoking, you can't smell what you smell like. And as a vapor, you can now smell, and you do smell what smokers smell like. It smells like an ashtray. It's dirty. It's not nice. So you have that. But the positive of it is that you can now smell, and you get to enjoy these nice smells that are coming off your vape, and you leave that smell around you and around the areas. I don't have to buy an air freshener for the house anymore. I just vape. So it smells good. So that's one pro. A con to counter out this. Now, a con that I find is that I've got to carry a lot of stuff. So it used to be when I was a smoker, I would have my pack of cigarettes or my pack of tobacco and a lighter. That's all I needed. Now when I vape, I've got to take the device that I'm using, a backup device, chargers or spare batteries, a battery bank, plus juice, plus a spare coil. There's all this stuff that you want to carry around with you just to make sure that you don't run out of stuff, and it can be cumbersome. Obviously this is not if I'm just popping out to the shops. This is if I'm going out for a full day. I need to make sure that I'm not going to run out of anything. So there's nothing worse than when you're out, you've got your vape and you run out of power. So that's just one of those things. You get into the habit of carrying multiples. And for myself, it's not a problem. I usually have a bag with me anyway, so I have a few things in there with me. And if I am carrying extra batteries, it always goes in a safe container. So that's a bit of a con. Pro number 3 is the cost. Now, the cost of vaping is a lot cheaper than traditional tobacco. When you are vaping, all you need to purchase is your device, your supply of e-juice and coils. Now, that can be as low as £12 for a device, £1 for a bottle of liquid, coils £5 for 5. You can get really cheap devices and you can run on a budget. So the cost is really cheap. I've done some low budget reviews on my channel. Go check them out. I'll put some links up top there so you can go have a look at the budget reviews. These are low cost devices that you can get and you can run them at a reasonable cost. Obviously when you move into the higher devices like the Pulse 80 here, you're looking at a bit more of initial outlay, but even if you were to buy a high-end device, that initial cost does not cost as much as a supply of cigarettes. Back when I was smoking, I would smoke rolling tobacco and I would be spending upwards of £30 a week just on tobacco. There's then papers, filters, lighters and so on. If you're buying a full pack of cigarettes, they're about £10 a packet now. And I would get through 1 to 2 of those a day. So that's a lot of money going out the door. Even if I was smoking a full pack of cigarettes a day, 7 days a week, £70. Yeah. So that said, the cost is really good. However, the con is, for this one, is also the cost. Now, if like me, you get into vaping and you get into it pretty hard, it becomes more of a hobby, you become a hobbyist vapor. One device is not enough and you end up buying multiple devices. So at the minute I'm sitting at my desk, I've got my Pulse 80, which is a new device. I'm sitting here with that, but I also have mech mod here. I have a Rogue Alien mech mod with the Loop RDA on it. So these are new devices as well. This is about a month or so old. So that's where the cost is a bit of a con as well. If you are just using it to stop smoking and to reduce your costs on tobacco, then yes, it's definitely a pro. But it can become a con if you fall down the hobbyist route and you start collecting devices and going into more devices. So, even with that, I'm still spending less on older devices than I would have been spending on traditional tobacco. So it is a bit of both on that one. So pro number 4, leading on from the last one, it does become a hobby. For me, this is definitely something that's happened. The more I've vaped, the more I've got into it, the more I want to try new devices, try new builds in my RDAs, try different types of RDAs, try the RTAs, the RDTAs, all these different devices and tanks and decks and all this different stuff, different coils, different wicking, different juices, all this stuff that I want to try and build a collection and find the stuff I really like, and even find the stuff I don't like, but try it all out and just to enjoy it. And there's all those different options that you've got there. So that's something that it becomes, and it does become a hobby for you. Now, con number 4 is not quite connected to it being a hobby, but this is something that I find myself, and I'm going to try this direct. So I need to stand up for this. So right above my head here is a smoke detector. And of course the time I try it, it doesn't work. There we go. And that is con number 4. You can set off smoke detectors. Right, I'm going to flip it round for the last one, so we're going to do con number 5 last. So this is con number 5. You're never without a vape in your hand. Now, this might sound a bit silly, but one of the things with vaping compared to traditional tobacco is that it's 50% as effective delivering nicotine to your system, which means that in order to get that nicotine into your system, you need to vape twice as much as you would smoke. And once you know that bit of information, you find that you are constantly vaping. And this means you're almost constantly sitting with a vape in your hand, especially if you were a heavy smoker and you become a chain vapor, much as I have. And this can be a bit detrimental. So there are times, it's silly things, like I want to sit and play the Xbox, and I'm sitting playing, and I have to stop playing to have a vape to then pick up the controller. So that's, when I was smoking, I'd sit with a cigarette in my mouth and you could play, and that was fine. But now, if you're vaping and you want to play, you have to put the vape down to play or pause the game to take a vape. It does kind of get in the way for some things. It's also if you're out walking and you want a vape, or you're going somewhere and you do find that you're holding on to the vape and it does seem to be attached to your hand a lot. But you get used to it, and it is one of those things, and you end up enjoying it. It becomes part of you. So it's kind of a con, but now you get used to it. Now the last one I'm going to end on is a pro, just so that we can end on a good one. And the pro is definitely going to be the fifth pro, the community. Now, the community for vaping is brilliant. Everyone who is in this community has joined this community through vaping. That's the only thing that binds any of us together, is the vaping. And the people that I've met just because of vaping have been wonderful. There was a few weeks ago, I was in a shop, just a big sort of general shop, and I was looking at the e-juices that they had in there, just because I seen a shelf of e-juices. I was looking, and there was a little lady there. She had a little ego pen, and she was looking at these, and she didn't know anything about it. She was just starting vaping, and she asked me a question. I started explaining what the juices are for her, and she was just really impressed by the amount of knowledge that was there, and just the range of juices that they had, and all the different options that she had available to her. And she'd been vaping less than a week. She'd been told by a doctor she had to stop smoking, and she was transitioning over, and she had just picked up this ego pen, cheap little thing, and she was just learning about it. And I showed her some of the stuff I had with me and just explained a few things, and she was very, very happy. I've had another time where I was in a car park at another shop. I don't just go to shops, I do other things, but I was in a car park at a shop, and one guy seen me vaping. I was dropping off some recycling stuff, and he was as well. And he seen that I got in the car and I picked up my vape, and I was having a vape, and he stopped. He was about to drive away. He stopped because he saw I was vaping, and he held up his vape, and he rolls down his window, and we start talking. We end up talking for about 15 minutes just about vaping, someone I'd never met before. And it turned out that he makes his own juice. So it's a wonderful community, and there's not really much more I can say about the community other than it's brilliant. Everyone I've met in it, or met through it, or met because of vaping, has been spot on, and not a bad word to say about anyone. So that's going to wrap it up for these 5 pros and cons. Just a few short ones there, just what I've found in my vaping journey, and since my transition over from smoking to vaping. But feel free to leave a comment below if you've got any other pros and cons. If there are enough in there, we might do a follow-up to this video. So that's going to wrap it up. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter there. I'm at @OnePurpleMongoose. I do other things on this channel. I do a vlog, I do vape reviews, I do previews, I do vape news, I do vaping 101s, and I do videos like this just about vaping in general. And I do have another channel as well. There'll be a link at the end for that. That's charting my weight loss journey. As I said in the very first pro there, the health benefits have led me onto a weight loss journey as well, because of the improvements I've got from this. So I've set up another channel because it is a separate issue, but that's available. There's a link at the end of the video. That is Mongoose on a Mission, so go check that out if you're interested. And as I end all my videos, as ever, vape on.